things are being thrown. There's no room for this in the sport. There's no room for the Davis brothers to be in the building tonight. The police escorted them out. You saw.
He did say in the post-fight press conference, I had someone that I was going to call out. And then someone asked him, Shakur, and he said, no, someone who came into my locker room. But all the sleuths don't know who came into his locker room.
Some people do.
There's only one name that people are bringing up.
Don't you dare.
There's only one.
Don't you
I'm
dare.
not the
I
one.
ain't got time for this.
There's only one name that people are bringing up.
I don't have time.
And you know who it is.
I do know who it is. I'm not having Jake Paul.
El Gallo. El Gallo de Dorado. El Gallo, is
You know what I will say?
Yeah.
If I'm Jake Paul and
Jake Paul cruiserweight.
Yeah, against
a
Gervonta 150.
40, okay, yeah.
150,
right.
eating a bit.
Yeah.
If I'm Jake Paul and the Jake Paul Canelo fight was taken from me like that, the only way to go bigger is Gervonta.
It finally went down. Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. went head-to-head in a wild Vegas press conference, throwing verbal jabs about legacy, knockout power, and redemption. But no one saw what happened next coming. Gervonta "Tank" Davis suddenly stormed in, stealing the spotlight from Chavez Jr. and reminding everyone who the real star is. That's right, Tank crashed Jake's moment and flipped the script, setting the stage for something even bigger. Let's break it all down.
Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down.
I don't know if Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
First up, let's dive into the Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight. Say what you will about Jake, but this bout marks a serious upgrade in competition compared to his previous opponents.
Daddy does all the talking. I didn't know it was bring your dad to work day. You're nothing without your dad. You were born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
You like old man, that's why I brought him, because maybe you like my dad.
Chavez Jr. might be a faded star, but he's still a legitimate former world champion who's faced real contenders. Prime or not, this isn't some YouTube-style exhibition. It's a real, risky challenge. And yet, somehow, Jake is the favorite going in.
I think it's one of his toughest fights.
It's definitely his toughest fight. Jake, I feel like, has gotten stiffed a few times this year with who his opponents were gonna be. This is what I don't understand about people hating on him. He's not fighting tomato cans. Every single person that he fought had a chance to beat him. And by the way, people believed that they were probably going to beat him every time. This guy is a real boxer. So it'll be another opportunity to show that Jake Paul is a real.
But it makes sense. Jake Paul is younger, hungrier, and riding high after a huge win over Mike Tyson. Sure, Tyson was 58, but that fight broke pay-per-view records and showed that Jake can hold his own against legends, even if they're well past their prime.
I want professional boxers. It's only been 3.5 years. You can only make a certain amount of fights happen. And the plan was always to fight Nate Diaz after Tommy Fury, win, lose, or draw. People think there's like this ducking of professional boxers. The next fight could potentially be a professional boxer. I'm just getting started. I'm 26 years old, and there's only so much I can do.
Chavez Jr. has plenty to prove. Critics call him lazy, inconsistent, and past his prime.
Would be Jake Paul. I don't think that would be a surprise element. You know what I mean? Like, you still need to have a balancing act here where that you're playing. I think Anderson is too good. Like, I don't think there would be a surprise element to that promotion. I think Chavez Jr. is a better name for it. Who Anderson just beat in boxing, who is tough though. He's lazy as hell. He's probably overrated as hell. If his last name, if he wasn't Chavez Sr.'s his son, he probably would go nowhere near a world title in his life. So boxing can be manipulated in that way. But you know, he gives you a little bit more to work with, because again, the element of surprise. If is he gonna show up in shape? You're worried about guys not making weight. That guy will show up not making weight. You know.
But for Jake, this fight is really about setting the stage for his next massive payday, and that's where Gervonta Davis enters the picture.
Is it true that you made $170 million from this fight?
I made a lot of money, the most money I've made ever.
60 million households, Jake.
250 million people.
Bro, that is so
It's all downhill from here.
No, for sure.
I peaked.
Because once Jake handles business against Chavez Jr., and let's be honest, he probably will, Gervonta "Tank" Davis will be waiting for him on the other side.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown.
Yeah.
He's a clown.
Would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him. Like, you want me to fight him?
You think it'll ever come to the point where you're going to mix into, I mean, you're obviously doing the real shit, but will it ever mix into the point where the money's big enough for you to
would you ever do a fight like that?
I feel as though in my career, I can't do that right now.
Let's talk about the fight everyone's buzzing about, set for November. Jake Paul versus Gervonta "Tank" Davis.
We know that Gervonta is going to fight Jake Paul in November. And then we'll see what happens if there's an AJ fight. Be interested to go from Gervonta Davis to Anthony Joshua, but I don't think the Chavez fight is terrible. I think it's a smart bit of business.
It's a showdown between one of boxing's most lethal punchers and a social media icon turned cruiserweight brawler. Sounds insane, right? A lightweight stepping up to take on a guy who walks around looking like a heavyweight.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195. It would be an exhibition.
Okay, so it was going to be an exhibition, not sanctioned, but no restrictions. You can knock each other out and shit like that. It was going to be at a catch weight of 195 pounds, 10 rounds, 3 minutes. I've been trying to figure this out. Why was I a Tank hater for wanting to see Tank go up 5 pounds to get some smoke with like Teofimo Lopez or something? I just wanted to see him go up 5 pounds and fight Teofimo Lopez. And all of you were saying, you want Tank hurt, Showbiz. You a hater. You want him hurt. Then I'm convinced, okay, he's too small, but he can fight Jake at 195?
But this is 2025. Welcome to the era where boxing is pure entertainment. Now here's where it gets real. On paper, Tank Davis is the far better fighter, no question. Pound for pound, he checks every box: power, speed, experience, ring IQ. He's the total package.
Skill for skill, none of these guys can mess with me. Like, nobody. Like, I feel like my skills is way better than like Floyd. Like, if I'm on my game. Well, I take that back. Probably hand in hand. But skill-wise, nobody on TV that's fighting right now have more skills than me. Nobody. Like, talking about top to bottom list of fighters that's fighting on TV.
But there's one stat you can't overlook. Weight. Jake Paul isn't just bigger, he's massive compared to Tank.
Fight, what weight would it be at?
195.
Oh, wow. So he would go all the way from 40 to 95?
Yeah, I mean, it would be an exhibition.
Okay. But, and so what does that mean? Is that 3-minute rounds?
Yeah, 10 3-minute rounds.
And when you say exhibition, like, what are the restrictions on that?
No restrictions, just the fact that like we couldn't actually get it professionally sanctioned.
Jake walks around at over 190 pounds, and his punches carry real power. Just ask Tyron Woodley. He can launch bombs, and all it takes is one slip, one opening, and Tank could hit the canvas.
Tank's super skilled. Even though he's smaller than Jake.
It's like you with Mayweather. When you beat Mayweather, you were way bigger than Mayweather. That's why you won.
First person to beat him in history, and he still didn't pay me. Allegedly, in my opinion. Fuck off.
Let's not forget, Tank has never faced anyone remotely close to Jake's size. This isn't sparring, and it's definitely not an exhibition. If Jake lands clean, Tank's night could be over before it even starts.
Tank was looking past Roach, and he wanted that Jake Paul fight, which I think Jake Paul would have beaten. Jake is way too big. Tank is 5'5", 135, soaking wet. Y'all think Tank is too small for 140. He ain't beating no heavyweight. I'm not joking. I don't think he would have hurt Jake. He would have to jump up to reach, but I don't think he would have hurt him. I tell you this, it would have gone the distance, and people would have been laughing their asses off, and it wouldn't have been good for Tank's brand. I tell you that. That fight would have went the distance. Soon as 5'5" Tank is looking at a 6'2", 6'3" Jake Paul, y'all would be like, hold, wait a second. And Jake Paul be on spread out paws with that arm out and stepping back. And bro, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. But that's a cat. Fine. We'll never get to fight anyway. So we'll never know.
So why would Tank even take this fight? Simple: money. This isn't about belts or legacy. It's a straight-up cash grab. Tank saw what Floyd did with Logan Paul, and now he wants his slice of that influencer pie. Same blueprint. Fight a YouTuber, make millions, and forget about the rankings.
Crazy that everybody keep asking me, why you not coming back to fight? Why you not coming back to fight? So I look at the fight game, I said, okay. I said, fighters fighting, they make 3 million, 4 million, 6 million, 7 million. Some may make 10 or 20 million, but I'm doing exhibitions and I'm making 20, 25 million, 100 million for exhibitions. So why would I come back and fight and get a guaranteed 35 million when I'm doing exhibitions and getting 100 million?
But here's where things get messy. Tank is already locked into something way more serious, a rematch with Lamont Roach.
You know, since the word has been floating around, the rematch is happening for sure. Just keep an eye out for August. There's a date floating around that might very well be that date. I can assure you guys that it's coming this summer for sure.
My man, you just made my day saying that, man. And I'm telling you, I beg to differ with regard to what took place. So let me just say you're the champ.
Thank you.
I'll leave it at that.
That fight is scheduled to happen before the Jake matchup. But from everything we've seen, Tank is clearly more focused on the payday with Jake than settling the score with Roach. And that's a dangerous mindset.
Who were you going to call out? What was the plan originally?
I think he was here. He came in my locker room.
Shakur Stevenson?
He wasn't in my locker room.
Jake Paul?
Next question.
Man, god damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
The first Tank versus Roach fight? Let's not kid ourselves. Tank didn't look elite. The bout ended in a draw, but if we're being honest, Roach looked like the sharper, more composed fighter that night.
Oh, nice double left hook by Roach to the body and then to the head. Right there it is. Oof. And oh, Davis just got backed up with a counter right from Roach.
That's a big moment in
the with the left. Oh, and that right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still, Roach leaned with right.
He took a knee.
He took a knee. What was he doing?
He forgot his...
Nice combination from Roach. Best in yet. Oh, another right hand, another right left by Roach. Nice combination. Got just over around 11 as well.
Maybe him getting fouled.
Davis fighting on even terms here in the 11th. Both of them have landed.
Has to keep doing that. Roach said the familiarity, knows his weaknesses. It's one thing to say it.
The decision is a majority draw.
Then there was the 9th round controversy. Tank clearly went to a knee, but the ref didn't call it a knockdown. That moment had fans and analysts alike screaming robbery.
Tank did that, so I know the got in his eye, but they should have countered it. They would have countered it, it would have went to Lamont Roach. What I didn't like about Tank, he was gassing up Lamont Roach way too much, and he was already talking about like retiring.
He seemed a little distracted in the fight.
That wasn't the same Gervonta Davis we're really used to seeing.
It just lets you know how corrupt like these governing bodies are, bro. If that dude took a knee, not only did he take a knee, he's like, hold on real quick. Let me get this out of my eye. How is that not a point? Like,
you know, funny thing, bro, that's why I cut my braids off. I had braids, and I had the same thing. I went through the same when I fought Andre. That was burning my eyes, so I cut that off.
Fans, analysts, even fellow fighters were all saying the same thing loud and clear. Lamont Roach should have won that fight. Tank barely got out of there, and instead of locking in on redemption and proving that draw was a fluke, he's already scheming up million-dollar showdowns with Jake Paul. It's like his mind has skipped ahead, focused on bright lights, big paydays, and Netflix specials, while the real danger is the guy who nearly beat him last time. That kind of mindset? It could cost him everything. Even Shakur Stevenson, one of the most focused and respected fighters in the sport, has called it out. Shakur doesn't respect the Jake Paul fight one bit.
Didn't say you got your eye on Tank. What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting?
man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on it. So if he won't call cap and say, I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
Because let's be real, the fight the boxing world really wants is Tank versus Shakur. That's the mega matchup, the one with everything on the line. Elite skills, championship belts, legacy. But Tank? He'd rather chase a YouTuber.
If you were Tank's promoter, what would the next step be for Tank?
I heard they were going to fight Jake Paul. When I see Jake Paul at the event and I see Jake Paul posting from the private jet with a picture of Gervonta Davis.
Slapped it.
Yeah, but they had that for a reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Because you had to buy it, you had to get it made.
Yeah, but I can't believe that fight was going to happen. But anyway, crazy stuff's happening. Yeah, you got to rematch Lamont Roach. You got to. It'll probably get ordered. That's the reality by the New York State Athletic Commission. But listen, they may have got lucky because the only fight for Tank outside of after Lamont Roach was Shakur Stevenson.
Facts.
Right? Now they've got another opponent that will do well at the gate because of the controversy.
Yep.
And it ain't Shakur Stevenson. I keep telling people Shakur Stevenson beats Tank.
Doesn't
you
sound crazy
cannot
anymore.
say that Shakur Stevenson would not have beaten Tank last Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he would have.
And Shakur knows it. That's why he's blasting the move, calling out Tank for chasing the bag instead of chasing greatness. But what Tank might not realize is this. Stepping into the ring with someone like Jake isn't just a physical risk, it's a brand risk. If Jake Paul somehow pulls off the unthinkable, lands that one perfect shot and puts Tank to sleep on camera, it's game over for his legacy.
Tank Davis, Lamont Roach. I think we need to start with that one.
Yeah.
What transpired in that fight was astounding because you have to remember Tank Davis was a 16-1 favorite going into this fight. Lamont Roach, while a WBA champion, was moving up from 130 pounds and no one thought he had a chance. And the general demeanor of Tank Davis going into this fight was like, hey man, I'm kind of done with this. I got 3 fights left. I'm going to be done by the end of 2025. I don't really like this sport anymore. Kids, don't do this. Go into soccer. This ain't...
All the hype, all the mystique, all that next Mayweather talk, gone. The internet would never let him live it down. And ironically, it'd give Floyd Mayweather the last laugh. Let's not forget, Tank and Floyd had a messy split. They were once close. Floyd mentored Tank, built him up, and made him the face of Mayweather Promotions.
When is Gervonta Davis going to go somewhere in the pound for pound? Anui deserve to be in the pound for pound? Absolutely. Do Terrence Crawford deserve to be in the pound for pound? Absolutely. But what about Gervonta Tank Davis? I mean, he deserved to be somewhere also in the pound for pound.
Why don't they give him that credit?
Because he was affiliated with me.
But over time, egos clashed. Tank wanted his independence, Floyd wanted control, and eventually, the whole relationship blew up.
Set you off that you was like, I gotta do that.
A lot of people don't know that what Floyd do. He said.
So you feel like it was a sub, like he was subbing you, like, oh, like
he was going at me. He was going at me, and I knew for sure he was going at me. That's why I went at him. There's no reason for me to go at Floyd.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Cause I feel like y'all got, I don't say love and hate, but it's been like the last interview you showed them love. This week it was whatever. But is that sometimes like, you know, is it just like big bro, little bro seeing things different, or what is it to you?
No, Floyd don't never. He felt as though I'm at that point where as though I passed him. And I'm doing it at a young age. Wait, like when Floyd was 29. You'll see, bro.
Yeah.
That deal that I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh, that's a part of
deal. He don't know about that yet. But that's bigger than his deal.
Damn. Wow.
And I'm just releasing it.
Exclusive. That's exclusive. Bigger than Floyd deal?
Yeah.
Tank, don't cap, nigga. That's a lot of bread.
You'll see. It's gonna come out.
That's what made the press conference so wild. When Tank crashed the Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. event, it wasn't just for show. It was a statement, a warning shot. He wanted the world to know. Yeah, Jake's getting the spotlight now, but I'm still the main event. And as for Chavez Jr., no one's even talking about him anymore.
What do you think of Jake Paul wanting to fight against Tank Davis, Gervonta?
Man, it's so stupid that comments, you know, like, you wanna fight Joshua, you wanna fight, Joshua, you wanna fight, Gervonta, you wanna fight, Usyk, you wanna fight,
Canelo?
Yeah. I don't know. After 28, so maybe another fight again.
Tank shouldn't even be thinking about Jake right now, because if he doesn't handle business against Roach, that Jake Paul payday vanishes fast. Nobody wants to see a beaten-down Tank step into the ring with a YouTuber. That fight only sells if Tank is still the monster, still the killer, still the undefeated phenom. And right now, that image is starting to fade.
You know Gervonta and Jake Paul are gonna fight too.
Are they?
Oh yeah, Jake's gonna kill him.
What? When is this?
Probably the end of the year.
I want to go to one. We gotta go to a fight together, guys.
You gotta come to my Brandwurst, Tennessee.
We're going to the one in
Brandwurst. Yep.
The next few months will define Gervonta Davis. He has to beat Lamont Roach decisively if he wants to hold on to his status. Right now, Tank's walking a tightrope, and he's playing a dangerous game. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss what's coming next. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and as always, stay tuned We'll catch you in the next one.